everybody. Welcome to B.O. Boys for Sunday, March 1st. Fuck it. Dang. F it. It's a raw feed. We're doing it live in studio. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat, and we were trying not to get demonetized before we even get monetized, but what are you going to do? Clayton effed us. So there we are. But we have a very special guest for this episode because it is Scream Results Weekend. 7 Cream is out, and it's doing business. And so we had to bring in our Scream expert. Of course, she is from MTV and Paramount and the Drew Barrymore Show and Girl Code, where she created Andrew Schultz. The one and only Scream superfan, Chelsea White, is back on the B.O. Boys. Chelsea, welcome back.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having me. And I'm so excited to have been promoted to like a main episode.
Yeah, because you've been on many an emergency apps. Of course, when I was in Japan, eating sushi, traveling, the world's finest restaurants.
Recording 8-minute long tapes.
Don't know what that means. Don't know what he's talking about. But you came in, you did the emergency episode previewing the Michael Jackson movie. You cleared him of all wrongdoing. You came in, you previewed the Scream trailer. But now you're on the results episode. We have numbers, Chelsea.
I can't wait.
So this episode, we're going to go through the numbers to start, but just letting all the wannabe-o boys, wannabe-o girls, and wannabe-o people. No, we will be spoiling this movie because we have to do, we're not critics, but we're going to have to really get into this Scream movie. So just know, if you didn't know who Ghostface was in this movie beforehand, you will know by the end of this episode. So, Chelsea, we're going to start with, and this is all new for you because you've never been on a results episode of the B.O. Boys. We start with a plow. Clayton is going to give us the top 5 movies of this weekend, and then we'll get into it. So, Clayton, can you plow for the weekend of February 27th?
And this is an even more unorthodox situation because we're actually using the Deadline top 5, which we rarely do because they have a movie that the numbers is, for some reason, not having it appear in their top 5. So
right. Let's hear this. Controversial.
Excluding it for whatever reason. Scream 7, number 1, with $64.1 million in its first frame. Number 2, Goat, made $12 million, down only 29%. It has a total of $73.9 million in 3 weekends of release. Number 3, Wuthering Heights, made $6.95 million, down 53%, for a total of $72.3 million in 3 weekends. Number 4, according to Deadline, and not to the numbers, 21 Pilots, More Than We Ever Imagined, live in Mexico City in only 833 theaters, made $3.7 million in its first frame. Number 5, Epic, Elvis Presley in Concert, made $3.5 million. That's plus 9%. It also added a bunch of theaters because it went wide. It's at $7.8 million in 2 weeks. And we'll just go to 6 because Crime 101, still doing pretty good business. $3.4 million, down 38%, for a total of $30 million.
Wow.
That's your top 6.
So, Chelsea, that is what our audience loves. They love just hearing those numbers.
Well, they love numbers and they love trains.
Of course.
They do love trains. So
yeah, that all makes sense. That all tracks for me.
We're going to get into Scream. That's why you're here, Chelsea. But before we do, let's just quickly hit some of those. Because you worked for years at MTV. You started at TRL. That is where you made your bones at TRL.
Was Elvis ever on TRL?
This is a great question. I'm actually asked this a lot. Unfortunately, no, he was never. He just was never in New York during that time.
Okay,
he was never able to make it. Yeah.
Was the Colonel like no Big Apple for you, King?
Exactly. We know he kept a tight leash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Colonel and Carson Daly, they never quite meshed. They were
it's
oil
always
and
been
vinegar.
a bit of a he didn't like that Carson wore the nail polish. You know, it was the 90s.
It was controversial at the time. I remember that vividly. The first time I saw Carson Daly with nail polish, it was the talk It was the talk of my high school for sure.
Wow.
It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. But yeah, I can't. This is fun. Is this just going to turn into a retrospective of my career? Because I'm interested in that.
Well,
if
I
your
mean,
audience is.
continuing in your MTV days, what is your relationship to these 21 Pilots who had a concert film in the top 5 according to Deadline? Were they ever on TRL? Have you ever written promo copy material for the 21 Pilots?
I thought that I still kept mostly abreast of pop culture, but what's happening there? A movie, and it was in the top 5 box office wise?
Mm-hmm.
According to Deadline.
About the band 21 Pilots. I didn't even know this was happening. I forgot about them. I think this is no shade to them, or maybe I don't know anything about them. Should I be shading them? Are they problematic? I'd weigh in the comments. But I had no idea anyone cared about them. Good for them.
They're pretty big. I mean, people forget that there is a hunger for rock music, and I know they're not a conventional
Are they
rock
music?
They
I'm
are.
gonna Google them as we talk. I'm Googling.
Yeah, I've actually listened to a few newer 21 Pilots songs, and they've been fine, good. I mean, they're not my favorite.
Right.
But
Ohio.
But I think
from Ohio, ladies and gentlemen.
From Ohio, there we go. But I think that they obviously have a fan base.
Okay. Are they as big as Geese?
Well, with the indie intelligentsia, of course not.
Okay.
But there is a bit of poptimism that has made 21 Pilots more popular with critics than you would imagine.
Okay.
They don't get shit on like the Chainsmokers or something like that. I feel like they're more respected. They're not beloved. Obviously, they're not Geese, but I think, a rock critic would say, 21 Pilots has some good songs.
Okay.
They speak for the alienated children out there.
I remember now I'm looking on their Wikipedia, that Heathen song. Look, and I actually never answered the question. I never worked with them. They kind of were, it looks like, formed in 2009. So that was kind of when I was not doing as much of the where I'd encounter musical guests that way at MTV. I was doing some other shows.
Was this a silent library era of your career?
It was. How in the world did you remember that? That was an exact silent library era.
You're Chelsea Way. We have to know.
Well, this is, guys, I feel so loved. This is why we do this.
Yeah.
Not your audience disagrees, I'm sure, but I
no,
love
they
it.
don't want us to get to the box office. They want to go through the MTV comedy shows that you worked on in the 2000s.
Boiling Points. Did you work on Boiling Points or no?
I didn't. Was that that was the one Lady Gaga was on, right?
Yes, Lady Gaga.
On one episode? Yeah. I never did any of the reality shows or the hidden camera shows. That's the one genre I've never dipped into.
You were too busy shepherding Andrew Schultz to stardom.
Yes. Exactly. Andrew Schultz, Charlemagne, I invented them. And here we are.
So good for 21 Pilots. Good for Mexico City. That Live in Mexico City is the subtitle of the third biggest movie in the country this weekend. So good for them.
Shout out to Mexico City.
I think it was fourth.
And huge weekend for music. That music documentaries had the 4th and 5th spots in the box office.
Well, they were concerts. I mean, I wouldn't say they're docs necessarily.
But just music.
But music. Music for sure.
Yeah, current day hot pop music like 21 Pilots and Elvis Presley, top of the box office. So, and quickly before we get into Scream, GOAT, Chelsea, have you seen GOAT? Steph Curry animated a basketball movie. Actually, not basketball. It's called Roarball.
Roarball.
Okay.
So does that mean anything to you? Have you seen this film? Do you know any? Are you a guardian to anyone that you would take to see GOAT?
My guardian channel. Well, we tried to take our 2 cats to the Magic Johnson AMC here in Harlem once, and they were turned away. Apparently, it's like a health code thing. So no, Unfortunately, I don't have any guardians that I could take. But this is really shedding light on how out of touch I am when I wanted to believe the opposite. I don't even think I was aware of this movie. And when you said the title, I was like, oh, is this a new horror movie? Aren't there a couple like one-word horror movies coming out
You're
like
thinking
in
of Lamb.
coming weeks?
There was a movie called
Lamb.
Lamb
See,
from
it's too
A24 4
much.
years ago. That was a fake horror movie. It was a
Oh
horror
my God.
looking trailer that was
4
actually
years
a
ago.
drama. Yeah. Yeah. So you were thinking Lamb when you
Guys.
saw Goat.
Am I not? Oh, am I unwell? I need to call my therapist after this. This
No,
is upsetting. Okay, but I'm gonna look into. Into Goat. Have you guys seen it?
We have not seen Goat, but we have talked about it quite a bit over these last few weeks because it's just been at the top of the box office. So Goat has been a big part of our lives, even though we haven't and probably will never see this film.
No, but we do know we do know some plot points from it that are I'm continuously surprised by the popularity of this because the character that is actually played by what's his face again?
Curry.
Steph Curry is not the goat.
Yeah, there's a teenage actor who plays the
from
titular
Stranger
goat.
Things.
Yeah.
And the Steph Curry's character is a giraffe who actually within the first 20 minutes of the movie dies in a texting while driving accident.
Oh my God.
And the movie
That's really what it's
the movie doesn't really doesn't really have much roarball in it.
Yeah.
It's more of a like
aftermath
situation, which
grief, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's interesting, and there's going to be a sequel, and it's going to be curious how they pull that off. Maybe a prequel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Before cell phones are invented. So
but we see Steph Curry's character buy his first cell phone, and then everybody will know, oh, this is a bad path.
Yeah, that's how you have to do it. Well, I think it'll be huge when it does come out.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge. So, and then Wuthering Heights. Did you see Wuthering Heights, Chelsea? Did you go in a group to see this film? Do you not care at all?
Like a girl's night? I don't really care. I don't. I kind of stopped reading. We were talking right before we started recording today, briefly about some of the books I'm using to stack under my microphone to raise it to the level of my face. You're so welcome. It's my pleasure. And so anyways, we were talking old books like Goosebumps, Fear Street, Babysitter's Club, et al. Sweet Valley High. Thank you. Yeah. That was about the time I stopped reading. So Wuthering Heights, I understand the idea that it's a beloved classic, something I could read words on a page. I have not chosen to do that, and therefore I'm not necessarily invested in the movie. Although I also heard that if you are invested in the book, you might not like the movie. So maybe I would like it since I'm not invested in the book. All that to say, I haven't seen it and don't have plans to see it.
And don't
but
read.
I could be convinced otherwise. Yeah, and I don't read.
Yeah.
I just feel like, what's the point? I mean, I am in the WGA, but those aren't totally related.
No. Just because you write for a living and have been doing so for going on 20 years now.
Sure.
It doesn't mean that you need to read. If anything, it could only hurt you.
I'm writing for the visual medium, so I don't really see how my literacy fully connects there. You know what I'm saying?
If anything, it would just damage your ability to write for Andrew Schultz and the next Andrew Schultz. Yeah.
Correct. You get it.
Yeah. So let's get into it now. Scream 7, Scream 7. Phenomenon at the box office. So anything that we thought going into this movie that people are going to be upset that Jenna Ortega, Melissa Barrera were kicked off the movie, or Melissa was and the Jenna quit in solidarity, or that people were going to be upset about that. None of it broke through. None of it seemed to matter. This is the biggest, Chelsea, this is the biggest opening for a Scream movie of all time.
Not even close. It's not even close.
Not even close. Nothing has come close. This is the biggest Scream has ever been. So
that's crazy.
Did you anticipate this at all, Chelsea? Did you feel in these coming weeks that Scream was bigger than it has ever been? Because that is where we're at. It's bigger than ever.
Not at all. If anything, I would have thought that the excitement, at least for me, maybe it was just in my own personal life, I felt like the excitement around Scream 5, or sorry, Scream 2022, whatever it was.
Five Cream.
That 5 Cream, thank you. That 5 Cream was the most exciting because, there was the longest gap. It's like the start of a new situation, and you have, Melissa Brewer and Jenna Ortega, beloved and hot at that time. Yeah, I thought that I'm surprised that didn't capture the audience the way this did. I don't feel like I heard anything about Scream 7 other than just because I'm a fan and we're fans and I talked to my friends who are fans. I didn't get the impression that it was in the zeitgeist. Did you guys?
I know we talked about this on the show a bunch, and we talked about this on our Scream thread. Like up until a month ago, this did not feel like a movie that existed to the general public, and we thought, what is Scream doing? We would share all of somebody saw a standee. Here's a trailer. Here's a poster.
The big game trailer that might have done a lot of business.
That's the one that kicked it off truly as, people know this is happening. But usually you need to ramp up a movie for a while before it comes out so that people are aware of it. But it feels like this movie didn't need that. It needed 3 weeks of bombardment before it came out, and then that's it.
And Neve on the poster. I mean, Neve Campbell, that was the selling point for this movie. I think we both thought that wasn't going to be enough. The teens wouldn't care. The tweens definitely wouldn't care. But they cared. And she was in 5 Cream in 2022. She was maybe not the lead, but she was heavily in that movie.
Not heavily. She was not heavily in that movie. The thing is, she was...
It does feel like with this movie, people retroactively thought, Neve hasn't been in one of these movies in 20 years.
Since 4. They make it seem like 4 was the last time anybody saw her.
Yeah. And I guess that worked. Like, the audience really craved Neve as the lead. That, to me, that is the draw of this. I mean, do you think that had a big part in this? That Neve, and we'll get into her acting, but it seems like she was the big draw.
I guess so, but I'm surprised about that because, like you guys said, who is she to anyone in their 20s or teens, right? Barely, maybe even who is she to people in their 30s, and why? I would imagine if this did such a big opening, clearly a good amount of not hardcore Scream fans, but just like general moviegoers, fans of the horror genre, probably had to have contributed to that, right? So what was the draw for them? Was it just, if we look at like a landscape, I'm sure you guys probably have some sort of diagram you could pull up right now and share your screen. But like if we looked at like the landscape of all the horror movies that are about to come out or have come out or whatever, was just filling as they say in the biz, like a white space? Was this just like filling a void where a particular type of horror fan was like, there hasn't been a movie that piqued my interest in a while? Or are we underestimating that some Scream, like maybe middle fandom, or they felt bummed that Neve wasn't in the last one, but then were excited for her to come back? Did that awaken Scream sleeper cells? I don't know. It's fascinating.
I like the sleeper cell theory.
You always love a sleeper cell.
I love a sleeper cell theory.
No, you love a sleeper cell
theory, not them themselves, not the cell.
But here's what I'm going to throw out there, and I think this is, again, just like Quentin Tarantino, his lack of respect for Matthew Lillard. I'm going to say, he probably was as big of a driver of people to this film as Neve Campbell. He's out there doing press too.
Yep.
There is a Matthew Lillard-essence.
Mm-hmm.
He is a guy.
As there should be.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, sir. And he is in one of the biggest horror franchises for Gen Z. He is in Five Nights at Freddy's. People know who Matthew Lillard is. The other thing is that
5 nights of it.
Scooby-Doo. Those Scooby-Doo movies are big for the younger generation.
Wow.
And they know him as Shaggy. They love him as Shaggy. And I'm telling you, the reason I went to see this movie is because of Matthew Lillard. Neve is fine, whatever. We love Sydney. After this movie, maybe not so much. But I went to this movie for Matthew Lillard and Stu. That's why I went to this movie. And I think that's being represented in all of the coverage. And listen, this is not to be a guy. I don't want this to come off as sexist. Like, no, it's a guy that drew you to it instead of Sydney. But I think
that is how our VP of interns, Christopher, will cut this vertical video, though.
He'll cut out the "not" when I say I'm not trying to be sexist.
So I'll say directly into camera, Christopher, cut the "not" that he said. Just go right into Clayton and sexist.
To be sexist.
Here we go.
For me to say to be sexist. But I think, yes, to sit here and say Neve isn't a draw would be reductive and wrong. But when you're talking about why did people see this movie and when they answer the cast, Matthew Lillard is a big part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the world's biggest Matthew Lillard fan, and I feel ashamed that I didn't bring this up immediately. He's like my second husband, so I couldn't agree with you more. And I do forget that these different generations know him and love him as much as I do, or we do, with the Scooby-Doo of it all and stuff and the Five Nights at Freddy's now. Yeah. You're right.
So he is that generation Shaggy, because obviously our generation Shaggy.
Casey Kasem.
Well, what was Shaggy?
Casey Kasem voiced Shaggy.
Right. No. I mean, our generation, Gen X generation, our Shaggy was the Bill Clinton impersonator on the Apollo who sang the Shaggy song. It
wasn't me?
Yes.
Okay.
That was our Shaggy. There was Boomers had Casey Kasem, and this current generation, the Zillennials, they have Matthew Lillard. That's their Shaggy. Every generation gets their own Shaggy, and Matthew Lillard is the current Shaggy.
Yeah.
So, that he is the new thing. You're right. Neve Campbell had just been in Five Cream. I think having her on the poster as the lead was a big deal. But the return of Stu is what was exciting. So now, again, spoiler. If you keep listening, you're going to find things out. So here we go. This movie promised us Stu Macher, and it gave us Stu Macher as, again, spoiler, here we go, AI Stu Macher. He is not alive. He is fully dead. This was a disgrace.
You can't kill an idea, Pat.
This was a disgrace. But he wasn't even really an idea.
No. Well, here is the major, and Chelsea, I do want you to weigh in here, but I do want to say, I think the major crime in this movie is that the creators of this movie saw everybody clamoring for Stu to come back and be the killer because we love Stu so much, and they said, "You want Stu back? You're stupid. So here's a movie that teases you stupid idiot morons who have dumb ideas for movies, and then fuck you, it's not actually Stu, you're all idiots." Even though one of the characters in the movie, Gail, says, "Wow, it'd be a much better story if Stu was alive." So basically saying this would be a much better movie and a much better script if you just went for it, because it's the seventh movie and who cares at this point?
Right. So, Chelsea, now we all know we've tried to save this for the podcast, but we've all been at the water cooler at BOHQ together over the last few days, so we know. But how are you dealing with, you're the biggest Scream superfan, you want to love all these. Where are you at right now? I mean, we know your opinion of this movie, but if you could tell the wannabe-o boys, wannabe-o girls, wannabe-o people how you are doing and what is your current opinion of Scream 7, 7 Cream?
I think, thank you, Pat. I think I'm still processing, as I think we all are. There's some trauma involved here, but in general, I think we have a little bit differing opinions, because I was ultimately disappointed and dissatisfied, but I also cannot deny that throughout most of the movie, I had a perfectly fun time. I was entertained. I thought on the whole, that's what she said, I felt delighted by the fan service, like, and I could be wrong. I feel like I'm seeing people's opinions on the internet that people felt like you really loved it, or if you were a little disappointed like we are, part of the disappointment is like maybe it got a little corny or like leaned into too much nostalgia or fan service. I feel like it's fucking Scream 7. Like, if we're not doing fan service and nostalgia, like, why are we even doing this, right? So I was delighted by all of that. And I thought that, yes, some things were silly. Why'd they make that choice? Why did they make this choice? But I was entertained. We were clapping. We were laughing in the theater. Lots of camaraderie. It was a good, fun time. The ending and the motivation was just horrific and made the whole thing bad. And the stew of it all, for sure, which we can talk more about. Which also, Clayton, you predicted, didn't you?
Yes, I'm not getting enough flowers here for every time I said there's going to be an AI element. These ghost faces are going to be AIs, create deep fakes, as they used to be called.
And
deep
fake rebranded.
Yeah, deep fake rebranded to AI.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it's not been mentioned. Thank you for mentioning this. That I knew the thing was it's going to be Stu was AI. Like, I knew this.
And the thing about this movie, which, listen, Clayton and I came out of this film, saw it Thursday night, and our immediate reaction was we finally have a terrible Scream movie.
Finally. And I love that you're saying that because you don't like 3.
I Scream 3, but this is a whole different level.
This is a whole different level.
Terrible Scream movie, according to the B.O. Boys.
Yes.
So the one of the issues was when Stu Macher does his FaceTime early in the movie, which good for this movie for finally Scream graduating from just phone calls into FaceTimes, which I guess now they have to continue going forward. Scream 8 has to be FaceTime centric. It can't just go back to audio only calls. But the first time we see Stu in a FaceTime, Sydney and the other characters, their immediate thought is, oh, that's not really Stu, he's AI. So you start with every character in the movie assuming he's AI. Then the movie continues and everyone continues to assume he's AI. And then the movie's reveal is, yeah, he's been AI the whole time. The only reveal at the end could have been he is real.
Yes, because that would defy the expectations that they had set up in the movie that everybody thought he was AI.
Yes.
Or you needed to just make Sydney incredibly stupid, which also then just do that and have the whole movie her not even consider the possibility that it's AI Stu. And as soon as he calls, she's like, oh my God, Stu is alive.
Yes.
And then at the end, the reveal is, hey, have you ever heard of AI? And that's the first time Sydney has heard of the concept of AI. That's the twist.
Well, because she is...
Make her stupid. It's fine.
Because she is a woman in her 50s, so she may not be well-versed in the technology of deepfakes and AI.
Right. Sid is not listening to Sam Altman podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, which just makes sense. She's got other shit to worry about.
She's working at a little what's the name of her stupid coffee shop? A little latte?
Yeah,
latte.
Would you how much do you want to go visit that coffee shop, Chelsea? Like, should they make a little latte real life experience that you could go to?
It should have been the little latte pop-up experience.
And is the pun there a little late? Like the name of why would you name your store a little late? Because that makes it feel like, oh, well, I opened a coffee shop, but it was a little late. So, people don't really want coffee shops anymore.
No, I think the pun is be a little late to wherever you're going.
To get a latte.
Be a little late. Come on in.
What if it's for women who are a couple days late on their periods?
Oh, it's sort of a...
That's possible.
Let's get together and
it's
take
sort
tests.
of a menstruation
and talk about
thing.
what the deal might be.
Yeah.
Hold on. Can we rewind just a second? Because you guys are saying, do you guys, you weren't entertained by it at all. You're just like front to back...
No,
this made me upset.
A bad movie can be entertaining. And what we'll say is, and this is what I've heard from all the boots on the ground reporting, is that people are having a hoot at this movie, which I am very excited about. And I thought the only way to see this movie is with a group of fellow maniacs who cheered at things as stupid as Gail running over a Ghostface.
Yes.
Like that, it's
Great
fun
moment.
in a bad way, like some bad movies can be. So if that's what it was aiming for, to be a bad, fun movie, then it is. But as a Scream fan and somebody who rewatches the Screams at home by myself, listens to the commentary when they come out on iTunes, this movie I will never watch again. I don't want to hear the commentary. I think if I would have watched it in a smaller theater with less people, like 2 weeks from now, I would have walked out.
That's the thing, Chelsea.
No,
could
you
you
would have
imagine?
really.
I would have walked out 100%.
What would your experience be? Because we all did opening night, packed theaters, New York City, greatest city in the world. So this movie had everything going for it for us.
Right.
But if you were to go see this on a Tuesday afternoon in week 2,
Just a
and you're
guy
just
that has in a full overcoat,
sitting in front of you, it's just you and him, and
he has got a cup of popcorn butter, but no popcorn.
yeah,
Sure.
he
Just setting
brought
the
it in.
scene. He brought it from
I see
home.
what's
He
happening.
microwaved a popcorn, a butter stick, and put it in a cup. So that and there's you go see Scream 2 in that setting for the first time.
Oh.
You're loving it because it's Scream 2 and it's a legitimately great movie. So I think if we were able to divorce the context of seeing it opening night, packed house, and just judging it as a movie, this is the first terrible Scream movie in that way.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you're right, and there certainly is some novelty about, like, to your point about bad movies can be good, and also just the idea that it's novel. Like, we're seeing these characters who we love doing things and being in situations for the first time, and even if maybe they're terrible or stupid or the plot is weird and it's over the top, there's still going to be some initial, like, oh my god, we're watching this for the first time, we don't know what's going to happen, it's all unfolding in front of us. But I suppose you're right. Like, would I rewatch this? Would I rewatch it?
Well, we're all going to rewatch it because at some point we're all going to do full Scream rewatches ahead of another Scream movie.
Well,
Of course, as always.
I've
But
already. Oh, sorry. You say it, Charles.
No, I mean, I think you're right. I think you guys are right from that perspective. Maybe it wouldn't be as entertaining in a different situation and on a second watch or in a different type of watch.
Well, Chelsea, I'll throw this out here because this could be a place where Clayton and I are bumping on this movie and maybe you're not. What is your feeling towards the actor who played Sydney's husband, Joel McHale? Are you a Joel McHale gal? Because Clayton and I were bumping on having to see Joel McHale, big smug face on a big IMAX screen, biggest we've ever seen.
Noxious presence.
The noxious presence that is Joel McHale. We've never seen his smirk bigger than we did on Thursday night. But was that not a problem for you?
I also dislike Joel McHale.
Okay.
That was not fun. He lived way too long. His character lived way too long.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant
and
Joel
his character
McHale
survived.
as the actor.
His
Yeah.
character, she meant. She meant his character.
Oh, well-
His character as of Joel McHale.
Yes.
Okay, well, sure. Yeah, I just meant I didn't want people to send me letters about me wishing death on a real person.
I
No.
agree.
I wanted to clarify that that's not what I meant.
Now, could
But
we
yeah,
clarify
Joel
this?
What?
That character that he played was named Mark.
Why do you have to have this
I
question
have-
every
well, I
time?
have to ask Chelsea this. Why was that? Are we to believe that is not the same character?
It's not. The names are
It's not
different.
Patrick Dempsey.
It's not. It's not Patrick Dempsey's character.
At this point, I feel like I've lost the plot of why we thought she was married to Patrick Dempsey. Didn't we just think that because
In the fifth movie, she says Mark. Gail, I think, calls Sydney's husband
Right.
Mark.
and we assume that was
Patrick Dempsey's character, because that's the only Mark we had met in this series that had anything to do with
saying
Sydney.
The name was different. You're saying,
Yes.
And what the hell is Joel McHale's name?
His name, his first name is Mark, but his last name is different than Patrick Dempsey's character. What happened was Patrick Dempsey either was not going to get paid enough to be the Mark, or he's working on the sequel to Thanksgiving, and he was unavailable to do this movie. Otherwise, it would have been that Mark. But
Got
it
it.
wasn't, and this is a different Mark. They did not recast the Patrick Dempsey character.
She married a different
Oh, yeah.
Mark.
I see what you're saying. Right. Yes. Right. We're on the same page. So originally, we were right to believe in Five Cream that they were alluding to her being married to Mark and Cade, Patrick
Yes.
Dempsey.
Mhm.
But because that didn't work out, they were just like, scratch that.
It's a
It was
different
probably
Mark.
a different Mark. It's this Mark Evans, Joel McHale character. Yes.
And then for some reason probably for the reason that he was in law enforcement and this character's in law enforcement, they didn't have to do any thinking as to what would this Mark character do. Like, what would this character, what would his job be?
So Sid specifically, her type is cops named Mark. I mean, Chelsea,
Yeah,
have you ever
it's
had a
super
type
niche.
that is that specific? Where
No,
it is
that's-
job and name, and it has to be multiple versions of that guy.
It's pretty niche, and I respect her for it. No, I can't relate though, unfortunately.
And I don't listen. And there's, I think we've talked in different capacities. I've talked to different people about like rewriting this movie. It's fun to rewrite a movie to make it better or something you'd want to see. But like, why not then make Mark a tech guy who works in AI? Because then at that point, he could be a suspect and a red herring here because he is working on AI technology, and all of a sudden she's getting AI videos. So that then sows a seed.
Well, they did that with Sydney's daughter's boyfriend.
But he was into computer science.
He was into computers.
Which is a term I have not heard in 20 years, computer science.
Well, that's right. I mean, Kevin Williamson wrote this movie. So, Chelsea, did this feel like a movie written by a 60-year-old man trying to write about modern computers and teenagers?
You could say that. I thought you were going to ask a different question. Was like, did this feel like it was written by Kevin Williamson? Which that part has been confusing to me. Like, how did he get this all so wrong?
Because he's been writing
movie,
CW shows.
I guess, but I mean, Scream is his thing. It came from his brain. How did he get that far? Like, how did he lose the plot that dramatically that he didn't? And hold on, if I could just continue on a rant, and you can answer any part of this, I'll ask multiple questions. Okay, so the Kevin Williamson getting it so wrong is confusing, and when you're talking about the different characters and Tatum's boyfriend kind of trying to be a red herring, and this guy's a red herring. Who are these characters? We don't even really get to know any of them. If there would be a Scream 8, who would be around? I mean, I guess they're literally all dead, but even if they weren't dead, why would we care to see more of them? We don't know anything about them. We're just simply left now with the legacy characters and unfortunately Joel McHale and now Tatum. And furthermore, okay, so we don't know anything about these characters at all. And that's insane in of itself. And then additionally, the fact that we don't know anything about these characters is what made the reveal so fucking insane. I'm sorry. Are you guys trying not to swear? I will also try not to swear. It's so insane.
We're trying to avoid it in the first 5 seconds, but Clayton is unable to.
He already did. Okay, I see. Got it. All right. But so the two people that ended up being the killers, I don't know if I can't even remember their names. I could barely remember. I had to go watch a TikTok to remember and fully understand what their motivation was.
Mm-hmm.
Like immediately after the movie, someone texted me, "Oh, like spoil it, I'm not going to see it." And I was like, she like was mad at Sydney, but I couldn't even grasp it. I had to go watch a TikTok to remember. Yes, of course we love beloved 90s and 80s fixture Ethan Embry, but who gives a shit that either of these people were the killer? We don't know anything about them. And then additionally, their motive makes no sense and ties back to nothing. I feel like Scream movies are supposed to somehow tie to something. The whole point, I'm sorry, I'm really going in.
I love it. Cut the shit.
As Mindy said in the whichever cream, they're meta horror whodunits, right? Like I feel like the whodunit of Scream is what makes it a Scream. And in my opinion, or at least why I like Scream and why I was disappointed, is the whodunit reveal needs to, even if you could be like, oh yeah, I saw that coming, or oh well, like whatever, everyone can have their nuanced opinion, but on some level it's some level of surprise, or like twisting something that we thought was true the whole movie that's not true at all, or like this person that we thought knew the whole movie is not who we thought they were. We didn't know these two people at all, and so why do I give a shit that they were the killer? Like that's I
No,
Wow.
I could say much more, but what else? I mean, what did you guys think about the reveal of it all and the fact that it didn't tie into anything? Like, I don't feel like the idea that, oh, now we're talking about this person wasn't obsessed with Stab, they're obsessed with Sydney. Okay, who gives a shit? Or like, it just, you could have somehow made it be that, like, I just feel like it should tie back into the others in some way other than just that this person was obsessed with Sydney. Just like give me a little shred of, oh, and I also realized it was someone that, I don't know, my friend from college's sister, like something that makes it feel
a big
like
problem
connected to reality.
A big problem with these is that they refuse to have us rethink any of the legacy characters and just go with, I mean, Clayton, your push that you've been campaigning for a long time now is Gale should be the killer.
Gale should have been Ghostface.
And if you keep making these movies where someone's got to be revealed to be the killer, and it's never going to be Gale becomes a Ghostface or Sydney becomes a Ghostface, or you're just going to have to like introduce a new character at the beginning of the movie like they did with this Anna Camp and Ethan Embry characters, and then reveal that they were the killers at the end. Because no one means anything if you're not going to use the characters who've been in other movies to be the killer.
And now
Have the twins be the killer. You brought the twins back from
mean,
5
honestly,
Cream and 6 Cream.
Yeah.
Have them be the killers.
I could see not Gale because, listen, I'm campaigning. I thought this one should be Gale. Definitely should have been Gale because I think that would have been mind-blowing. And there's a lot of reasons why Gale would become a Ghostface and want to end all of this.
Yes.
Because her career is failing. Dewey's dead. Mm-hmm. She's in constant pain from 6.
Yep.
Sydney wasn't there for her.
She's all pilled up.
If she can just kill Sydney and her family, this will just all stop.
It will all stop. And Gale is the Joker to Sydney's Batman. Mm-hmm. And we could tell with this interview that Gale couldn't help herself. She had to exploit her quote-unquote friend.
Yes.
And so at the end, if it turns out that she is creating this as the final chapter, you know, and maybe she was like going to try and get away with it because nobody would have expected her or whatever. And then Sydney finally kills Gale and then Sydney has nobody left. Mm-hmm. I mean, that would have been a really interesting thing. But
you could have had Gale do a final interview with Sydney right before she killed her so that she would have that interview to put on national television.
That's why she wanted to do. Yes, she could tape it ahead of time for after she kills Sydney. Yeah. And then it becomes this big thing. But
do it live to tape, have Sydney, you know, like, actually, could you restate that, you know, when you screamed for mercy there, could you do that again from a different angle?
And I truly think that not that this was as big of a franchise or as popular a franchise as Scream is. Obviously, was a platinum franchise. But I think they saw what happened with the I Know What You Did Last Summer twist.
Okay.
And this is a divisive movie amongst us because you hate that movie, and I understand why. I actually thought it wasn't bad. I actually very much enjoyed it. I think, Pat, you enjoyed it as well.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, not you. You don't like it as much as I did.
I saw some of it, but then when I woke up, I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good."
But I
was also entertained by it, but just didn't like the reveal. And to your point, yes, exactly. I didn't like. You're exactly right. What I didn't like about it was that it kind of ruined that character's like. That's not who he is.
But people change.
That's who he is. And people do change, and you're right.
And Gale could have become that.
You're selling me on Gale making sense, but I also do think if it had happened, I might have been that person who would have been like, damn, I don't want to think of Gale that way. But Gale is also different. Like that makes to me more sense for Gale to go that direction and always had a little bit of, you know, maybe hasn't always had the best moral compass, right?
Mm-hmm. She's an asshole. Say it, Chelsea.
She's a piece of shit.
She's a piece of shit.
And here's the thing. The 3 Ghostface thing that they did here, because we forgot about Carl. How do we forget about Carl?
Fucking Carl.
The 3 Ghostface in this movie are Gail and the twins. Because when you think about it, like the twins, they're Randy's niece and nephew.
Mm-hmm.
Randy was murdered because of Sydney, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in these people's sphere are killed because of Sydney. So Sydney has to die for people to stop dying. And so if those three teamed up and then they wanted to make a name for themselves or whatever, you know, they could have done that. And that would have been mind-blowing. But again, they want to do 8. They want to do 9. They want to do 10.
They're terrified to do anything. And listen, they killed Dewey in 5 Cream. But
they killed Randy in 2.
They killed Randy in 2, but like
that's crazy to think now.
They are clearly terrified of
crazy.
doing anything truly interesting with Neve, with Sydney, or with Gail. I mean, listen, a big problem. And listen, it wasn't a problem for the box office. The movie's a huge hit. We're putting on our critics' hats, for this episode. But
fan hats, I would say, more than critics' hats.
The last 2 movies set up would have been a really interesting plot for 7, because you had the Melissa Barrera character fully embrace she has got killer blood inside of her. And she went nuts and she stabbed up the bad guys in the last one. And it really led us towards she could fully be the killer in the next movie. It seemed like that's where it was going.
I heard that. Well, that's, I think, the rumor, right?
That was the plan, according to some people that are in the know, that it might have been the first, like, we're rooting for this Ghostface.
Right.
Yeah.
Almost.
So which would have been super interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they had an interesting way to go when they fired her and everything fell apart. They just went the safest route possible, which is we bring back Sydney and Ethan Embry is the killer.
There's no safer thing than to have Ethan Embry as the reveal at the end of your movie.
In 2026.
In 2026. I mean, that's how bereft of ideas and how bereft our pop culture landscape has become. And listen, I love Ethan Embry. I actually met him in real life.
Oh, wow.
Is he wonderful?
When I was working at REI, I worked at REI, and he came in, and I recognized him. He was yoked. He was super swole, looking great.
Wow.
Nicest guy, super friendly, thanked me, just was so pleasant. And listen, that thing you do, can't hardly wait. He's done some
Dutch. He's the kid in Dutch.
He's the kid in Dutch.
The kid in Dutch, Chelsea.
Cheap Thrills, which is a great
tell me about it.
Independent movie he was in. He's done some. There's also a movie where he's like I can't remember. It was like pretty recently. Like it was something with devil in it, but he was really good in it. He's a great actor.
Is he good in this movie? Is he good? I know we're disappointed with the character reveal.
Is he in this movie? He's like barely in it. Sorry, I woke my cat up screaming about Ethan Embry. Wait, I also forgot to say at the top of this, I'm wearing my top story, my Gail Weathers top story.
Wow. See, and that is why you have to watch the B.O. Boys on YouTube. If you're only listening, you're only getting half the story.
You'll never see it.
Chelsea wearing a Gail Weathers piece of merchandise. And
don't have FOMO. Don't have FOMO. Just watch us on YouTube.
To the YouTube channel.
I wore this when I produced Courtney and Neve and David Arquette when they were on the Drew Barrymore show when I was there for I guess it would have been 5 Cream, right?
Mm-hmm. It would have been 5 Cream. That's when you became a canonical Ghostface, right?
That's when I became the canonical.
100%.
Yeah, a series of segments, canonical Drew Barrymore show Ghostface. But I wore this to produce them. So when we were kind of like briefing them on Zoom before they were about to be put in the feed of the show, because we were still in COVID times, I was like, oh, I'm wearing my top story hoodie. And I don't really think she like processed it. She either didn't hear me or she just fully was like, I don't know what that means. Thank you, though.
Yeah,
I love it.
You seem very excited, sweetheart.
She didn't get. She
Thanks,
didn't.
Courtney Cox.
she didn't. She didn't keep track of all the merch drops.
Exactly.
She might have thought you were referencing her show Dirt.
Yeah,
which she also played a reporter. Yeah, she's always confused. Am I Gail Weathers or am I a character from Dirt?
She has a lot
They're
too.
equally
Exactly.
huge.
She has a lot of iconic characters. But okay, hold on. I feel like I had another spiral I was going to go down. You said we talked about how terrible the reveal was.
Ethan Embry and Anna Camp in this movie. Obviously, the reveal that it isn't Stu, that it isn't anyone we cared about is terrible. Just them as performers. I mean, Anna Camp, I don't have a real relationship with her as an actress. I've never seen
Pitch
I wasn't like
Perfect.
a big Pitch Perfect person. Like I've seen them, but I'm not like
True Blood.
Is she a terrible actress? Because she's very bad in this, and we're not critics, but those are some rough scenes.
She's not given anything. I think here's the thing about saying Ethan Embry and her are bad in this movie is that they were done a disservice. They had to do something impossible, which is to sell this reveal. I don't think anybody could have done that. I can't name an actor who could have done that with those characters.
Pacino.
Maybe if it was Pacino,
Al Pacino,
and De Niro were revealed as
their
the ghost faces
from Heat.
We're from Righteous Kill.
From Righteous Kill, yeah. If they were revealed as the characters from the movie Righteous Kill.
Yeah. And then their ghost face, then I would maybe be like, okay. But again, those two don't have their fastballs like they did in Righteous Kill.
Yeah. This is a much older Pacino and De Niro. Yeah, it's pretty rough. You're right. She's put in a bad spot of having to. The entire audience wants that mask to come off and for it to be Stu is alive and this is Stu.
And then when
it is just the annoying mom from one scene in the beginning of the movie, that is a huge disappointment. So, but
also
even within that, I do think she's just bad.
Okay, but also then to have the Ethan Embry character be like, what did you think it was, Stu? Are you stupid? Is the meta commentary on us as fans.
Yeah.
And it's like...
It is. And why? Why did they do that to us? Why didn't they just... Do you guys think, I mean, you kind of already said this sort of in the beginning of our, like, how long have we been recording? 7 or 8 hours?
Yep.
That it would have disappointed some other people and been too obvious or whatever, but it would have been far more satisfying than what we got to literally just actually have it be Stu, right? Like, are we all in agreement there?
Yes.
That would have been, okay.
Who would it have disappointed, though, Chelsea? Who do you think?
I do think that on some level there would have been the people. You're right in like that Matthew Lillard, thankfully, is universally beloved, and he had that, incident with piece of shit Quentin Tarantino that turned positive, and all this is great for him, and I'm very happy. And I do think fans wanted it. But I also think there's always going to be that other segment of fans who are like, it doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, we love him, but like, what? It's too obvious. Like, they're just doing whatever. It's like too playing into the, just because we wanted. I don't know. You can't see that happening, that people would have been like, we saw it, they teased it too much and everyone knew and it's so stupid. They should have made it be that we thought it was Stu and it wasn't. They would have been asking for this movie ultimately. Well, they wouldn't have been asking for Anna Camp.
You're right. They would have been like, why wasn't Anna Camp the last reveal?
Camp,
who has
gotten a lot of those tweets.
Who has been referenced as Sydney's best friend in a few reviews of this movie, and I'm like, where are you getting that they knew each other other than just being neighbors?
Yeah, they're moms who know each other.
She says we're neighbors, like when, yeah. But I think you guys are right too, where you're saying like they set it up. They made it so like, could it be Stu? Could it be Stu? Even like in the promo leading up to it, people putting stuff on social media themselves, like Skeet Ulrich and other people posted stuff like, could it be Stu? Then we see this AI the whole way through. That to me made it even, I think I'm literally repeating what you said earlier, Fat, but like that made it so much like infinitely more disappointing that it wasn't him. Like if they would have just given us one AI Stu or like one little wink, like here's some fan service, here's one AI Stu, but then backed off or made like each of the killers call each time. Like they leaned so hard into the could it be Stu that it just made it that much more.
And here's the thing,
saying that it wasn't and disappointing. And then we didn't even get ghosts. I didn't even think about this till I saw people's takes on social media, because it was always AI Stu delivering like all the threats. We barely got any Roger Jackson in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what's terrible about it becoming a FaceTime movie, and the fact that Stu would do these hilariously bitchy screeds.
He was so great.
Yeah, to Sydney, and then have to press the end call button was unintentionally hilarious or intentionally hilarious. Because I don't know how campy this movie's supposed to be, but it comes off very campy, but not in like an intentional way.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we're disappointed that it's not Stu is alive and Stu is the killer, but I guess we did love every time we got to see AI Stu deliver as Stu, because he has still got it. Matthew Lillard has still got it. He channeled Stu now as if it was 1996, and he's up there and he's like, doy, and he is fully Stu.
Oh, you scared?
Yeah.
He's the best. It was the best. And that's
Which is why we wanted to see him in that backyard at the end.
Going ham,
yeah.
And
live and let him be the villain in 8, you know?
Why do you guys think that Kevin Williamson did not make that choice? Or the studio didn't make that choice? Or why was that choice not made?
You go, Pat, first.
I do think this movie really feels like a bitter attack on its own audience. I think from the producers of this movie, who are upset that their stars said something they didn't like and they had to fire them, or they didn't have to, but they did. I think that the producers were mad about the online backlash to all of that. I think Kevin Williamson is probably just like a little bitchy about not having been involved in the Scream movies for a while and sort of not really making it as a I think there's a lot of
now I have to come save you guys. Okay, right.
Yeah, this whole movie felt like a really just spiteful attack on the people who ended up making it the biggest Scream movie of all time, and not to be someone who's like, Iron Man wasn't the right color in this Iron Man movie, but this did feel like an attack on the people who are making them all this money. It felt bitter all the way through. It was very bitter towards Neve Campbell. There were many times where characters...
Why weren't you in New York?
Why weren't you in New York? They called New York a shit show, which was
I don't think that was against Neve. I think that was against
those movies.
Those movies. I think it was... I don't think that was aimed at Neve. That was aimed at those movies.
But there was something to this movie saying, Neve, you shouldn't have asked for more money. You should have been in those other movies already. This movie felt like it was eating itself, attacking the people who went to go see it, attacking the people who are in the movie now because they weren't in the last movie.
Well, it's also like
attacking the last movie itself, even though the last movie was a huge hit for everyone.
It was the biggest movie up until this one. The thing too is that when people talk about the fan service, I feel like it's more fan disservice because of the whole Stu situation and making us feel stupid for wanting Stu to be the big bad at the end of this. Also, the fan service was patently ridiculous because, as the great Brett Arnold from the New Flesh podcast, when we were on our text thread, mentioned how stupid it was that Neve's college leather jacket was used as if it was Indiana Jones's hat.
Yes, great quote from Brett on our thread.
Now, did you recognize that iconic leather jacket from Scream 2, her college leather jacket?
No.
Of course you didn't.
For even bringing this up, because that was a crazy moment where I was like, am I insane? I mean, I'm trying to envision it right now. I guess, like, is that the one she wore? Is that like what she wears towards most of all through the end? I'm gonna Google this right now.
Well, but the fact that you
was
even
it just like a prop they had to, like, they happened to have? Was it just like, what do we still have from Scream wardrobe? And they're like, oh, I think this leather jacket.
Yeah, it's the only thing they had remaining. While you're looking that up, I will say, here's the other problem with this movie is that, other than it looks like shit and is directed terribly, is that this is the worst collection of teen fodder we've ever had in this franchise.
Tatum. Let's talk about
Tatum.
Okay,
I want to, but can I have a little bit of Screed real quick about Scream? Because this is the avenue for it. 4 had the worst collection of teenagers up until now, but what made 4 great was the Jill reveal. If that reveal would not have been as amazing as it was, 4 would have been full of the most forgettable teens that we've had in the whole series. What they were able to do with 5 and 6, they had Jenna Ortega, right? They had Melissa Barrera. They had Honora.
They had a Nora.
They had
Oh,
the
they had
twins.
they had a Nepo Quaid.
They had
Nepo Quaid.
Nepo Quaid.
Yes.
They had the young man who played Wes, right? Who from the, what is that, 100 Reasons Why, whatever that Netflix show is.
Okay.
That was a
Right.
collection of really good young actors.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
the ones that survived moved on to the sixth one. And
Yeah.
they lucked out with that in a way
Yeah.
that all of these people. So now we can talk about Tatum. That absolute lump of an actor.
Yeah. Lump of a character, lump of an actor. It is a disservice.
I won't say anything because I just recently found out that she stars on one of the Paramount shows. So I'll stay quiet on this one.
Of
Okay.
course you will.
You could say out of this. We'll speak for you here, Chelsea. We'll speak for you. Tatum is a disservice to Rose McGowan and to the original Tatum, naming this lump of a character after that classic character who died in a garage door.
Doggy door. In the garage door, doggy door.
And the standard
Never
all garage
forget
doors have a
doggy door. Never forget
the
doggy door.
of it all.
And okay, quick just aside, because we're talking about the garage door that had a doggy door. There's a scene in this movie where Joe McHale is attacked inside of a garage. We see him walk past a garage door. How do they not have his kill or attempted kill involve a garage door, doggy door?
Pat,
didn't we all think that was about to happen?
Pat, it's
Put him in
even
the doggy
worse.
door.
At the very end, when Anna Camp and Sydney are fighting, she stabs her up against the garage door, which could have easily had her stick her head into a doggy door that's in the garage door that she had put in
Yes.
as an homage to her best friend who she named her daughter after.
Yes.
She sticks Anna Camp's head through this doggy door and presses it to go up, and her head is crushed, and we see the eyeball popping.
And or
There we
you know,
go.
Neve is about to press it, Sydney's about to press it, and then her daughter Tatum says, "Hold on, Ma.
Shoves her head in the doggy door.
This is what I do." She presses the button.
This is how I win.
Yeah. And she presses the button, crushes Anna Camp in the doggy door, and says, "Now I could fully take that name of Tatum. I've earned it."
There we go. That's fan
There we
service.
go.
Fan service.
A leather jacket
There
is
we
not
go.
fan service.
And
That was crazy work.
so Tatum, Sydney's daughter, who she named after her best friend, who got crushed in a garage door, doggy door. This character is going to be the young person who they're banking on carrying this series.
No, she won't. We won't see her again. She'll be off in college. This is going to be Neve. This is going to be Neve and Gail and some other shit.
Then just have Neve and Gail, have Sydney and Gail become roommates. Have them live together. They're both widows. Oh, I guess they're but not because Joe McHale lived. Have him die off screen between now and the next movie.
Yeah,
He
botched
gets sick.
surgery. Well, no, he was getting calf implants and he got sepsis.
Yes, yes. And that this is the aftermath. The opening scene is at the funeral. He got sepsis. He died.
But his calves are like super fat, so like they
Yeah.
bury him.
They can't
He's in
close
the
the casket.
He's in the casket face down, so he can show off his calves.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the next
Yes.
movie starts. They're widows who are living together. So what do you think, Chelsea? Do you think Scream 8, which is going to happen, I think,
Oh, well, we've heard there's been an article that Neve and
Kevin.
Kevin Williamson have already
Yeah.
put their heads together. That's
Yeah.
that's that loud, hollow, clunking sound like two coconuts bonking against each other that you could hear all across the valley because Neve Campbell and Kevin Williamson put their heads together for
Yeah,
8.
Yes. Right.
So is Tatum going to be a big part of 8, or as Clayton expects, she's off at college and we never hear from Tatum again?
I don't know how to answer that because I can't even fathom what the fuck you do after this. What do we care about anymore? What do we possibly care about? And this is
$60
where
million opening weekend.
That's what
that
we
is
care
we're
about.
Yes. I just feel like it's totally jumped the shark. It's often, and this is why if you had, it still wouldn't have mattered. It still would have been bad. But if you had the killers somehow, again, but it goes back to what you guys said, and I agree that they're really hesitating now to do anything to like change the legacy or go back. I just kept thinking, even though this wasn't the trilogy, it was supposed to be like a 5, 6, 7 Cream trilogy, right? Then
Yeah.
everything got fucked up, out of people's control. It wasn't people's control that it happened, but then out of the people's control who inherited the project, like Kevin Williamson and Neve and everyone, right? And so certainly we couldn't be so naive to expect it to still feel like a satisfying trilogy in the way that maybe it was intended or building up to be. But I kept thinking, it kind of is history repeats itself with Scream 3. That was ultimately at the last minute something that it wasn't intended to be, but they still gave us a satisfying trilogy ending, which again, the movie itself explains, where Randy explains how, like, in the conclusion of a trilogy, you go back to the beginning and something that you always thought was true wasn't true to begin with, right? Like, you shed new information. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't they? I still feel like they could have done that with 7 and went back to the beginning and even found like a low stakes thing. Like, you don't have to make Gil the killer. That would have been cool. You don't have to kill Dewey, which I'm angry that they did that. I don't think you necessarily have to like kill or rewrite these legacy characters, but I feel like there's so many low stakes ways, even with the, like, I thought immediately that Anna Camp was going to be like, I'm Stu's sister, like just something like that, where it's some sort of low stakes, or maybe it's, I guess so. It does get complicated, and then you repeat a Debbie Salt situation where you have to be like, wait, you're Billy Loomis's mom, but
You got
I know
plastic
what you
surgery.
look like.
Yeah,
You got plastic, right?
Yeah.
It's like you do. I'm not saying there's always a perfect solution. It's going to potentially unravel a new problem, but there's got to be some sort of like low stakes way that you could still go back and be like, somehow it was someone connected to Sydney's past, or I don't know why I'm so hung up on that. To me, that feels like what the Scream is and is supposed to be. It shouldn't just be that, like, this woman,
well, she's
had
obsessed
a
with
weird para relationship.
She's obsessed with
relationship with Neve.
the book that Neve wrote that she was promoting in Scream 4. And that was her big thing, is that made me kill my husband and then subsequently kill my son, basically. And so that's a comment on, like we said a little bit earlier, the true crime parasocial relationship. Like you specified, a Sydney. I'm sorry, sorry, I was Sydney on the brain. Chelsea, is that this isn't about the stab movies. This is about Sydney as a icon of true crime and survival.
Right.
And so that is what this twist is. But it's also like that book was totally forgotten about in subsequent movies.
100%.
Because Gail is the book writer in our mind. She's the one with the bestsellers. And Sydney wrote like a book that nobody talked about for what?
It was like a throwaway plot.
Yeah, 15 years. But that's the reason this Scream killer is now killing people.
And I guess you're right in terms of, like, even with 5 Cream, the motivation was we're obsessed with Stab. Okay, fine. And then the motivation of 4 was Jill being obsessed with, commentary on social media and like being internet famous or whatever.
And 6 is just revenge because.
And then 6 is revenge. 6 is like a repeat of 2, where it's like avenging
family revenge.
The killing. That's one. But I guess ultimately what I felt it was lacking just go back to we don't know these characters enough. Because at least in 5 Cream, it was like a boyfriend and a friend who we thought we knew on some level. And there was enough to like suspect different people and we know who these people are. And then in 4, at least it was her. And that's originally why I didn't love 4. I didn't love her motivation, but at least it's like a character we knew and got to know throughout the movie and was her, had a familial connection to Neve. I don't know, you guys. Do we expect too much from these movies?
I think at this point we cannot expect anything from 8 to be something we would want to see.
Yeah.
Right.
I think at this point now
it's not ours anymore.
Scream, the quality level shouldn't be any different than the 1990s Halloween sequel.
Yes.
Like Curse of Michael Myers level. That is what we go into Scream movie. I think we had them at a high standard that they pretty much mostly earned, where we would go into these thinking Scream movies, even as we get to a 5th movie, a 6th movie, these are better than the average horror franchise by a lot.
Yes.
And I think after this movie, that expectation is gone. You're just going into them saying,
Sure.
I hope there's a bunch of stabbings. I hope we get to see someone lift an obvious puppet onto the top of a bar so that Ghostface could slide his head down a
Not an obvious
incredibly
puppet.
sharp handle for
Bar beer tap.
a beer tap
Yeah.
that has a blade at the top of it. Like, what was the physical logic of this kill? And, normally in a horror movie, a Part 7 or horror movie, you don't have this conversation at all. You're like, of course, you just place someone's head through the sharp part of a beer tap lever and they slide through because that's what horror movies are.
But
I
Scream
didn't
never
expect-
had to do that.
Scream never had to do that.
It
until
was
now.
the killings were motivated enough, and the mystery was enough that a character just merely getting stabbed had as much impact as a weird leprechaun-esque. That's what I've
that
been
was
saying. It's
back
like
in the hood.
this is like a bad Leprechaun sequels kind of kill.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like, "You like to drink beer? Here's some. Here,
Right.
why don't you
Right.
tap out?" I
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck Leprechaun
No.
would say, but probably that.
That would be what Leprechaun says in space, in a bar in space before he kills
Looks like
someone.
you're tapped out.
Yes.
Where's me gold?
And now you could put Leprechaun in a Scream movie, which is kind of, if you're these producers, you're looking at all the terrible AI videos on social media and you're saying, how could I get some of that? So now I'm going to prime our Scream audience. A, AI is in, and B, these could be so bad that Scream 8, we could bring Warwick Davis's Leprechaun character into these movies because that's what Scream movies are now.
Mm-hmm.
They're at that level. It's almost like they wanted to lower the bar so that going forward they have a lower bar to cross every time.
They can make it look cheaper. They can hire cheaper actors. They can, and again, you don't have to comment on this, Chelsea, but they can just take from Tulsa King. They can take from Landman. They can take from Mobland.
That's
yeah.
right.
And,
That's right.
And they can just say, hey, in your new contract for Tulsa King, you also have to be fodder in a Scream movie.
Yeah.
And we get you
Right.
2 for 1. Because there's not a lot of jobs out there, and we own everything now. So what else are you going to fucking do?
Yeah.
And
also, this is making
That's
me
how Stu would
realize
say
that,
it.
yes, this is that we've been talking about a Paramount property this entire time. So I suppose I could have just went in and said all my thoughts about the actor that played Tatum, but I still won't. Go on.
Don't do it.
And again,
you're totally right.
I think
Capitalism is at the root of this.
Yeah.
An oligarchy.
I think I was being mean to that actor that played Tatum. I think she had a terrible role because she was just crying and whining the whole time and saying, I'm not like you, I'm not like you. And then she ends up sort of just kind of being like her mom when they blow Anna Camp's face off in a really badly done CGI scene.
Yeah. These Scream movies, they never normally have that, but this is one where they are going hardcore into the trauma-esque gore shots.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to carry over into the future of these movies where the reveals won't be interesting, the characters you won't care, but you're going to start to get faces falling off.
And I wouldn't be as sad about this if, like, Final Destination Bloodlines hadn't come out and been maybe the second best of the series. Mm-hmm. The only reason it's the second best is because you can't not make the first movie the best because it set the template.
Right.
And so that's really depressing that we got that, and that did Bafa Bobo because it was a great movie. And this did Bafa Bobo, and it is the worst in the franchise, and it's not even close.
Do we think that we've been sitting here picking this movie apart, and Chelsea liked this movie more than we did, though maybe she's rethinking it now. Do we think any of this matters going into weekend 2, weekend 3? Like, will there be a big drop-off based on the quality and word of mouth of this Scream movie? Or do you think people are okay, we just want to see Ghostface out there, and we want to see Sydney, and we want to see gory kills, and it doesn't matter whether the movie is good or bad.
Yeah, I think. We didn't get into demos, but the demos were very young. I mean, of course, there was the older segment, but there was young people who went to see this movie. The definite recommend was very high for a horror movie or any movie in general. So people like this movie.
Yeah.
Our 14-year-old nephew was like, I saw it, I loved it. We were like, why? He was like, it was just so good. Like, you're absolutely right.
But
it's not necessarily legacy fan, Scream fan people. It's just young people who want to see a horror movie. And I suppose with through that lens, I suppose why wouldn't you enjoy it? When you're just looking at it through that lens, I mean, to your point, there's still other ways you could pick it apart. But if you're just like, I just want to see a horror movie, and I'm probably not expecting much from a horror movie, and I'm certainly not going to be bothered by plot holes or some weird, CGI here and there.
Yeah.
Live it up.
Well,
live it up. Live it up, young folks.
Great for theaters. Great for the box office. That even a mediocre to bad, a bad Scream movie is going to do giant business. Is going to easily clear 100 million domestic, probably by the second weekend. So this is good for the future of theaters. That this level of that Scream is going to be a huge franchise for probably the rest of our lives. For as long as there are movie theaters, I think now this is the movie that solidified it. There will be Scream movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, again, I feel freed. I think there is a freedom in this. I mean, I think this is me shedding the last sort of connection to my childhood.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
or the hope or the expectation that it could, Mm-hmm.
I mean, this really is the last thing that is like a mass-produced thing that I loved. And now I realize, and I should have realized this long ago, and I think I always knew, but I just didn't want to admit it, is that it's a product. All these things are product. And now I'm free. Wow. I'm free from this machine that is making me feel bad about like not liking product that I can just not pay for.
Wow. So you are finally a man today.
Yes. I became a man after we walked out of 7 and I had my feelings and I went through it all, and this podcast as well, like just being such a fanboy and complaining about fanboy bullshit. This is the last time.
Wow.
This is my last word on Scream.
Wow.
And I'm retiring as a fan of the Scream franchise. Wow. And I do feel like a grown person now.
Wow.
And it's good. That's why I say
we
to
have to change the name of our thread, our text thread.
Oh no, that'll stay. But I do think that I say to all people, shed the chains of your franchise like love.
Okay.
Like all the MCU people, let yourself be free, because Doomsday is going to free you. Doomsday will free you because that movie's going to eat shit. It's not getting IMAXs, so it's going to bomb. And let yourself go now or wait, but after Doomsday, shed your chains and don't care about these superheroes anymore.
Yeah.
Wow. That's powerful stuff right there. Wow. Chelsea, are you ready to jump on board there, or opening weekend Scream 8? Your tickets are already bought.
I think I will continue to always see it. I don't know if I can fully go as have such a powerful and definitive statement as you did, Clayton, just because
you're not a man today. You're not a man today.
I'm not a man today. I'm barely a human, but I will always be a Scream fan and identify as a Scream fan because the first 3 still exist. The others we loved still exist. If nothing else, the first one still exists. I'll always be a fan of what it was. I might not be a fan of what it has become and will continue to be, but I certainly will always go see the next one. Yeah. But I am free of expectation.
Yeah.
I've made peace to no longer live in the chaos and anxiety of having expectations not be met, because we can know that they won't be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was also just thinking, some people who have the wrong opinion that Scream 3 was bad, So in their minds, they just haven't even seen a Scream movie they liked since 1997. What a
Well,
crazy time.
I,
Do you know
I
what I mean? Like if you didn't like 3, would you like, but then I guess some people liked 4 more than I did. I've come way around on 4. At the time I didn't love 4.
listen. I am 1, 2, 4 in my rankings. 1,
And
2,
I forget.
4,
And then
5
what else?
cream.
What else is happening?
1, 2, 4, 5 cream, 6 cream.
Oh, that's ridiculous. You
Scream
can't.
3,
after
Scream 3,
No.
and then 7 cream.
You
What?
cannot have 3 below 6.
That's insane.
That's ridiculous.
Now,
I would love to have a
la-
hatred of 3 roundtable.
Last thing that I'll bring up because we haven't touched on.
Well,
this.
this is canon that my girlfriend broke up with me so she didn't have to watch Scream 3.
That
Because
did
we watched 1 and 2, and then 3 was coming up, and she broke up with me.
I mean,
My just previous
Wild.
girlfriend. Yeah,
wild times.
Wild hate for 3.
Wild hate for 3.
reason
And we
I'm
need
so
to
big
unpack it
on-
as a society.
I'm so big on 6 and 5 and 6 is an element that was not in this movie and I guess could never be in it again because if Melissa Barrera's character is now not part of this franchise, that also means that Ghost Billy Loomis is gone. And I loved Ghost Billy Loomis from 5 and 6.
I missed Ghost Billy Loomis in this, and we didn't even get Billy Loomis.
We never got a resolution to his story as a
Awful.
teenage serial killer who became a lovable ghost, who we all rooted for by the end
Yep.
of 6. And I wanted to see his story continue to 7, see him go through those pearly gates. I think that's what it was building
cross
to.
over. Yeah,
He would have
finally
crossed
gets to-
over.
yeah.
St. Peter would have said, you know what? Billy, all's forgiven. You've done good work as a ghost. And come on in. Come on in. Guess who's here? Your buddy Stu. Even though he was just the villain of this movie. Here he is. That was where 7 should have went. And we will never get the Billy Loomis ghost resolution. And that is why I was so high on 6 and I'm so low on 7.
They should do a where Dreams May Come remake with the Billy Loomis ghost.
Yes.
Oh.
Just going to hell. Just going to hell to get Stu.
Yeah.
How about all though? They should do just an afterlife Scream.
Yeah.
Yeah, where we can see them all hanging out.
Yes. At this
Oh my
point,
God. Who do we pitch this to?
all of our favorite characters are in the afterlife. Do
Yeah.
a spin-off movie. I mean, with this box office of Scream 7.
Scream Dead and loving it.
Opening to 60 million. It's going to be the
64.
biggest Scream movie of all time. Easily. Even if it drops off a cliff, it's going to clear Scream 6. They've got to start cranking, and Paramount needs to. They got a lot of debt to make up, so they got to crank out anything successful that they got. Crank them out. You need more than just Scream 8. You need Scream side movies, spin-off movies. Do one with Ghost Billy Loomis in the afterlife. Let's get his story. Get that in theaters like next Halloween while you're still making Scream 8. Why not?
A Scream spinoff would be fantastic. And we know Paramount loves a spinoff. I saw people on social media saying, why don't we ever get an origin story? Which I guess at first I was like, yeah, but then I was like, we already know what happened. So what would that look like? Like just the whole, what's going on with Rena Reynolds, for all those Scream 3, I can already see Pat's eyes are glazing over just at the reference of a character from Scream 3. But let's see like Roman talking to Billy and Stu. I don't know. I don't know how it would play out, you guys. That's not my job. I just make TV. I don't make movies. But
and this should not
there's
be
so many
TV.
other ways that, but then also maybe, they already did.
They
the
already
Scream
did.
series.
This
All I'm
has
saying
to
is
be
I'm on
movies.
board with the Screen spinoffs and the prequels and let's
Why
do
not?
different. Let's forget the sequel.
God, what a
Let's
crazy
branch out other directions.
What a crazy thing if the reveal was one of the killers was a killer from the Scream TV show.
Oh.
Or an actor from the Scream
Synergy.
TV show where they're
Cross
like, Sydney,
property synergy.
you ruined my career because only they only care about the Stab movies. They don't care about the Stab TV series.
That
Right.
That's one.
that is an angle that they haven't covered. That
They haven't explored that.
the MTV spin-off of Stab.
Yeah.
In the Screamverse.
Oh my God. I saw a lot of comments on social media, people being like, was this a Stab movie? Did we just watch a Stab movie instead of a Scream movie?
It does feel like that. It does feel like that.
Yeah.
It's
Tori
just
Spelling. Tori Spelling could have been this ghost face because
She
she's
could've-
like, she's like, I need the money.
Because it is canon within the Scream universe that the Stab movies are not great movies.
No, they're like
Right.
they're crappy.
They're schlocky. Like they wouldn't have been directed by the version of Wes Craven that exists in that universe.
Yeah.
Right.
They would have been directed by Kevin Williamson.
Yes. Yes. They would have absolutely. Yes.
So, yeah, listen, it's a huge hit. It's
Listen.
possibly the first terrible Scream movie. It is.
It is.
But
It is.
I'm with Chelsea in that Scream 8 comes out on their opening weekend. And I feel like you will be there, but
Obviously.
you will just be there without, Clayton, the expectations that you've had for the last 30 years.
I just can't see what they would bring to the table now that the stew thing is gone. I don't know what would bring me to 8. I just don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe there will be a great actor, a young actor that I'm a fan of, that they will bring on. Haley Lou Richardson, maybe they cast her in it, and I'd say, oh, well, now I have to go see the Scream movie because she's in it.
Right. Jane Wickline
Right.
from SNL.
Jane Wickline. If Jane Wickline's in Scream 8, then I'm there.
You're there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm there. Like, yeah, absolutely.
That would be a tough one. I don't know if you know who this is, Chelsea. She's a very tall cast member on SNL.
Okay.
The one thing about casting possible ghost faces in these movies is they can never have a really distinctive
Right.
body, with someone
Right.
who's really tall or really short, because then
Right.
you just would know who they are once you see
Right.
the ghost face. So they always have to be very average sized. We can't have
Right.
like you cast the guy who plays Jack Reacher in the Jack Reacher TV show,
Right.
Alan Richardson.
Alan Richardson, and then he
Sure.
is Ghostface, because people would just say,
Sure.
oh, that huge guy who works at the photocopy shop.
Right.
He's got to be Ghostface. They're the same height. They're both 6'10".
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's a
that
limitation,
does limit
for
the
sure.
casting for sure.
It's a limitation.
And you can't cast Danny DeVito in a Scream movie and have him be a red herring.
Right.
Although Honora was pretty short.
She was
That's
short.
true.
Yeah.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
And Jill,
don't-
Jesus Christ, Jill is so short too. And
That's
she was a
actually
ghost
true.
face.
This is actually true.
Yeah.
Pat, we're already proving you wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
You're full of
I
shit,
guess
Pat.
They
Well,
they do wear
I think-
lifts in the.
Well, I
in
was
the
gonna
Scream
say, yeah.
movies,
What you've uncovered is just the continuity errors, lack of care for continuity in the Scream universe
So
between Killer's builds and the person who plays the Ghostface stunt person.
So Jane Wickline would have to dwarf it, as Ethan Hawke did in his Oscar-nominated
Blue Moon.
Blue Moon, and of course Dorf being the character that used to play golf famously in home videos.
Yes. Yeah.
Dorf, Dorf.
Sure.
Yes. Classic. If Tim Conway was alive, he would also be a great possible Ghostface in his
Of
dwarf
course.
character. So, Chelsea, thank you for being on this episode of the BO Boys. Is there anything that the Wannabe O Boys, Wannabe O Girls, Wannabe O people should look for from Chelsea White in the coming weeks and months? Any big new projects that you'd want to announce exclusively on the show? Is this a platform that we could have a big announcement, a big scoop? Or do you just want to keep those things quiet that you have?
I did actually think about this because I think one of the last times I was on, we talked about that I could have something coming up that I've still failed to execute on because, I'm hanging on by a thread, I think, as we all are right now,
Yep.
as human beings living in the year 2026. But the next time I come on, here's a tease
Okay.
to tease that the next time I come on, I'll have a tease.
I
Wow.
love it.
Okay.
Well-
You like that? Yeah. But you can follow me at the Chelsea White on Instagram and TikTok. And that would be wherever something's happening, if it ever were to happen. Or if you just want to see me spiral more about Scream 3, And then there's cat pictures as well. So
I love it. That's huge. I mean, that's all you need right there.
that's all you need.
But I love this teasing of a possible tease
of a possible tease
in the future.
to tease.
And
That's right.
Chelsea White, the UK model, has not broken her silence on Scream 7.
No
No
maybe
cat pictures to
eventually.
be seen.
I don't know what she's doing. All she's doing is taking at Chelsea White handle away from me, and I resent it. But
Well, the next time, I mean, you might have to start working on the tease for the tease because
okay,
something that you're going to
That's
have to
right.
come in. And I think this is one where we finally get you in studio here at BOH.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mr. Innocent
I'll
himself
finally make the.
is
That's right.
Mr.
The
Innocent.
most innocent man in the world,
Yep.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Michael comes in April, right? End of April.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you've got to be
Here
here
we
for
go.
that. And I think
Tease for the tease, and we'll do that, and I'll be there in person this time. I'll make the journey down the 2 subway stops, guys. It's
it's a lot on a Sunday.
it's hard.
I
It's
get
a
it.
lot to get down there. Yeah.
And I think we all, and we have to agree to this right now, we've all got to be in our best Corey Feldman costumes for that taping, for the Michael Jackson movie episode in studio. We're head to toe 80s Corey Feldman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Works
we have
for
to
me.
do it. Okay, so that's huge. So that's a tease for that episode where then Chelsea will have a tease for
Yep.
her own projects. My
Mark
God.
it on the calendar.
Mark it down.
Mark it
So-
down.
So, of course, follow Chelsea White, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're only listening to the podcast, you're only getting half the story. Subscribe to the BO Boys YouTube channel because we are YouTubers. Hey guys, subscribe to the Substack. Email us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on social media at the BO Boys Pod. Wannabe VP of Interns Christopher is killing it cutting these vertical clips, and he's got a great one coming soon that implicates Clayton in being a huge sexist, and we've all listened to the content from earlier in this episode, and Christopher's going to cut that clip so perfectly that really makes Clayton look awful. Can't wait for that. Follow us.
Christopher would have been a better Ghostface reveal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he revealed, I'm the
Agreed.
intern from the BO Boys, and this box office is taking up too much of our feed, and I want to kill this so we could talk about other movies. That's a great reveal.
That writes itself.
Yeah. So follow us at the BO Boys Pod on Instagram, and that is it. That is all I got, Clayton. That is all I got, Chelsea. I am spent.
Pat, you've said it all,
Great.
but you continue to deny 834.
Not a rallying cry.
But there's nothing left to be said.
Great. So I can leave. Later, guys. I'm out of here.
Bye, Pat.
Except for, until next time, we'll smell you at the box office. Nailed it. Hey, guys.